Hey everybody, Ravens guy Jan-David Soutar, and the Ravens are the undisputed AFC North champs following their 42-21 win over the Jets last night. Now, Baltimore is 12-2 for the first time and winners of 10 straight games for the first time as well. And Lamar Jackson took on several records, including Vic's QB rushing record. He tied Testaverde record of touchdown passes in a season, and we still have 2 more games left. And also, just side note, he has now had the most touchdowns in a single season by a player under the age of 22. No doubt about it. Lamar Jackson, MVP, right? So Mark Ingram's no slouch either. 37 yards away from a 1,000-yard season. Again, still 2 games left. Mark Andrews has just broken the franchise record of touchdowns by a tight end in a single season. Still 2 games left. And it's just insane what this Baltimore offense has been able to do. And the defense is no slouch, and we're going to talk about special teams. But let's get into our updated Baltimore scenarios kind of going forward. So any loss by New England or Kansas City automatically gives Baltimore the first round bye, which is something we would love. And Baltimore could absolutely secure the number 1 seed with any Baltimore win, or at least 1 loss from New England and Kansas City in the 2 remaining games. Now, that sounds all easy, but you got to understand that the Browns and the Steelers are our last 2 opponents, and they're going to want to be in the hunt against us. The good is that the Ravens get a week off and a little bit more before taking on the Browns at First Energy, and it's a much-needed rest after a fantastic stretch of stacked wins. Now, the defense had some great plays. Tyus Bowser forced a fumble on a sack. You had some amazing coverage by Humphrey, as always, honestly, but still, it's just beautiful to see. And then you had this gorgeous interception by Chuck Clark. If you haven't gone back, go watch it. It's perfect. Now, the bad is special teams. Woo! Special teams. They had its worst showing of the entire season. You had a blocked punt and return for a touchdown by the Jets, and you gotta give the Jets credit. They had this beautiful play lined up. The long snapper, Morgan Cox, just got ran over by the Jets on a really well executed play. And the Jets were scrappy all night. They really fought. A lot of respect. Justin Tucker didn't have a great game, missed a extra point. It's his 3rd missed extra point of his entire career, so it's not horrible, but game on the line, you can't make things like that happen. The returns also have been kind of lackluster on special teams, with the average return by D'Anthony Thomas, for example, with really kind of underwhelming 12.2 yards per return. And the first-year special teams coordinator, Chris Horton, really needs to get these problems worked out. There's so many issues that I saw last night. There's just lots of long returns on the Jet side. Tackling has been a huge issue on special teams and really needs to be addressed. That was the bad, getting on to the ugly. And while the defense did a great job in the red zone and coverage, Le'Veon Bell still had a good day running against the Ravens. They are the number 31 ranked offense in the league coming in, and they still gained 199 yards in the first half, which is 11 more than the Ravens had in the first half. And that tells me that our run D might need a little bit of rest, or the schemes themselves just weren't working. I've got to go back and really watch the tape and figure out what was going on there. And tackling on the run D is still an issue. And, I mean, I'm nitpicking, but it needs to be cleaned up, right? Now, we have 9 days of rest until we play the Browns at First Energy Stadium. Ravens' last game against the Browns was September 29th, where we lost 40-25, and the Browns fans aren't going to let us forget it either. You got to think about that in context now, though. The Ravens' defense hadn't yet found its really identity in secondary, Earl Thomas or Marcus Peters, so we're a little bit of a different team, and there's still, though, a team you can't sleep on. Jarvis Landry's activated, OBJ is going to be there. You know, their offense is really not bad. They're really got playmakers, and it'll be really a good test for our secondary. Personally, I just hope for no injuries going into the playoffs. That's really the thing I want most for our team. Browns, they got an interesting game coming up, facing like a kind of off-kilter Arizona team that they've had moments and flashes of unpredictability, so it's going to be really fun to go and watch that game and see where they churn out at the end. I'm sure that our local Browns guy, DGBG, is going to be all over that game, so make sure that you go and check out his video after the game ends. I'm going to want to look at it for myself to see what his thoughts were on the game. You got also Mark Herman for Bengals and Gabe Bellotti for Steelers. We're trying to make sure that everybody gets in, their teams are represented, because this is going to be an interesting next couple of weeks of football going into the playoffs. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm really happy to be able to be done with school and get back into a little bit of football. And I'm going to sign off, as I always do, with fuck the Patriots, fuck the rest of the AFC North, and go Ravens. MVP. telling you guys, it's such a fun day to be a Ravens fan. Take care.